Hey friends, thanks for joining me today. I want to talk about your classroom because you really need to take a good hard look at it. For one, let me just say, after Vacation Bible School and stuff has already come and gone, you really need to go in there and see what's been left behind or what's been carried off that you need in your classroom or you don't need. I remember a year ago, I was packing up wagons and wagons of stuff to take to the resource room that teachers left behind. Those VBS teachers, they just stuffed it into the cabinets, and that's no bueno. We can't do that. So we've got to pull that stuff out so we can see what's in there and we'll be able to use it. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things real quick that your classroom needs or doesn't need. So let's think about, first of all, the arrangement of your classroom. You are teaching preschool, then you need to have your furniture peninsula out into the classroom, because if all of your furniture is flat to the wall, then that means kids can run amok in the middle. It's kind of like running with the bulls or a skating rink or something, and it really will lend itself to a lot of running. You need to bring that stuff where it peninsulas out and creates areas that you can arrange that will be very helpful for the learning centers, and it would slow down all that running around. So maybe you're blessed with a really large classroom. That's fantastic. It just doesn't mean you have to fill it up with a gob of stuff. Just make those things peninsula out so there's still room for plenty of children at each center. By the way, I usually use my group time rug to be the block center because it creates a boundary that we try to build on right there, and we don't have to get out. I've seen teachers who actually try to put blocks over in a corner where there's only a room for maybe two to be in there, and it's still so easy to knock all that down. And I get it. It's like you don't want the block spread everywhere, but in your group time, on your group time rug, you've got a perfect place for that to be a natural boundary to keep the blocks on. And every room needs a group time rug. That is like the landing spot for us to meet for our large group. We can really use that as a destination, and it's a very big help. So I encourage you to think about having a group time rug and then having all your furniture peninsula out. Now in elementary, it's going to be a different story. I do want things flat against the wall, meaning that I'm going to try to put the books and the Bibles on a shelf or tables that are just going to have supplies on it, cabinets against the wall. And then in the room, I'm going to have the tables where we can meet and we can work on different projects, but I want those to be mobile. I'm going to move that stuff back so that we can play games and the kids can help bring it back when we need to. Or we can move all the chairs from the table over here to a group time where we can enjoy our conversations together and the Bible study. I want to challenge you to just not sit around a big long table like a conference room to have a Bible study with elementary kids. It's not near as interactive as if you were to have a semicircle and have that stuff on their lap where they're able to see and read out of their Bible. It's much better that way. There's plenty of room for everyone when we do that. When a visitor comes in and there's not an open spot, it's like, well, I don't really belong. No, it'd be better to be able to have it in a semicircle and be able to move your furniture around. Very mobile in those elementary type of classrooms, the older children. A couple of things that I want to encourage you about is to plan for safety. I think we should already have listed on the wall by the door what is our exit route if it's going to be a fire emergency or a tornado emergency. You know, in Oklahoma, we've got our tornado route already mapped out too. And matter of fact, we've added now, what do I do in case of an intruder and we're told to lock down? And so that instruction sheet is also posted by the door. And we can talk about that in a later episode, but having a plan for safety. Matter of fact, look at anything in your room that's not safe. Is it splintered off? Is it broken? What do you have in there that could be a bit of a hazard? You want to get rid of that. Ask other people who teach in that classroom, is this yours? Do you really need this? Because I'm not sure, and they may have thought it was yours and they didn't want to get rid of it, but neither of you want it. So have a roommate meeting and see if you can sift through some of that type of stuff. I'm looking for a room to be clean with no smell. You know, the tabletops are cleaned, everything is put up, and it's really a tidy room, but I don't want there to be any smell. Even if you have warm vanilla sugar over in something that's creating the smell like a plug-in or something, I don't know, then I'm still going to ask, so what are you covering up here? Like, what's the problem? Because if a room is clean, it won't have a smell. I'm not even looking for pine. I'm not looking for any smell. So go in your room and see if it smells and see what you need to do. I think you should have a room that's got color, but the color should not be over the top. I wouldn't want to do one wall all in lime green and another wall bright orange and move through that. And I think I went through a phase where I thought that would be cool, but it only creates some kind of thing for the kids, like overstimulating them. Because if you have a neutral wall, kind of like the wall behind me, just a neutral wall, then you add to it your posters, your Bible verses, the color, then you've got lots of room to work with because it's a clean palette and the eye is drawn to what it is that you've posted rather than competing with it. So I encourage you to put away your stripes and plaids and all of those patterns and just have a solid wall that has a neutral color. I often have even painted the focal wall that the group time meets at, the wall behind the teacher, one color. Like maybe it was a really pretty blue, or it was a really pretty maroon color, or something that's even trendy now, but not dominating. Something that's just a little different. So when you put your things on it, it really pops and you want that. So try to do that without going over the top. Add pictures of your ministry, the kids doing the activities. That's a nice thing. And especially if it's hung at a level where they can see it, they like to see pictures of themselves. And I encourage you to do that. So finally, the condition of the room, just make sure that your decorations are not too overstimulating, not too much. Like if it's dripping off the ceiling and it's like getting all their attention and it's crazy, you don't want to go that route. You don't want that kind of competition going on. So I challenge you to think about how much decoration you're putting up and if it's over the top. And I think your classroom, if it's cleaned out and set up correctly, you'll have less behavior problems and you'll have a really good time when you're teaching your kids. So the challenge is before school starts that you're going to go through, you're going to clean out those cabinets, you're going to put things where they need to be, and you're going to get your room set up for a great year. I think it'll be great. Listen, we got lots of ideas at Classroom Swag. If you'll just click on the sidebar at Mr. Mark's Classroom, you'll see Classroom Swag. You can get a sample of it. And it's like 20 pages of great ideas, and you can make copies of them for all your teachers, preschool, children, bulletin boards, crafts, games, gobs of stuff. And I think your teachers are going to love it. They can add it to their notebook and make this incredible resource book that they know what's in it and what they like. And I think they're going to enjoy seeing you come around the corner with those every month. So you can check it out at mrmarksclassroom.com and you can see Classroom Swag. Listen, the gift that you have and is really teaching children and helping them understand who Jesus is and leading them to Christ. So go and make it count.